My name is Young. I'm a 37-year-old stay-at-home dad living in Australia with my wife and son. Today is Friday and Friday is bin day, so I've got to get these out before the rubbish and recycling trucks get here. The weather's great too, perfect for hanging out the laundry. If this were a regular day, I'd be sitting in front of my computer working. But 5 days before this footage was filmed, my work contract ended. Okay, well, let's rewind a bit. This is me about 2 weeks earlier. As usual, I'm sitting in front of the computer, getting on with my day. By this point, I already knew my contract was going to end pretty soon. This isn't the first time I've been in this situation. I've been here plenty of times before. I've definitely gotten better at handling it over the years, but it's still not the best feeling in the world. Most of the time, I would have already sorted out a contract extension or lined up work at another company. But this time around, I had nothing lined up. I wasn't panicking, but I definitely wasn't sleeping easy either. I honestly thought my contract would be renewed. It had happened before, and I think I got a bit complacent. But yeah, I was told it wouldn't be renewed. And just to be clear, I have no grudge or anger toward my former employer. They were genuinely some of the nicest people I've worked with and really looked after me during my time there. I have nothing but gratitude for them. I won't be naming names or anything, but thanks guys, I was happy to be a part of the team. If there's anyone I should be frustrated with, it's probably myself. But there's not much point dwelling on that. So I started looking for other work. I reached out to a few places and spoke to some ex-workmates to see if there were any leads. Honestly though, I wasn't sure how things were going to pan out. It was the end of the year, and recruiters are usually pretty quiet around that time. Despite all this sitting in the back of my mind, the day itself went pretty smoothly. I got a decent amount of work done and even had some positive feedback in the meeting with my supervisor. I decided to go watch a movie I've been meaning to see for a long time. It's called Run, directed by the renowned Japanese filmmaker Akira Kurosawa. A friend of mine who's a bit of a cinephile told me that if I ever watched it for the first time, it had to be on a big screen, not at home on a TV. It's an older film, so I've been waiting for a special screening to pop up. Turns out a cinema near me had it scheduled, so I booked a session. I don't go to movies nearly as much as I used to, so it felt like a good excuse. I figured it might help lift my mood and take my mind off things for a bit. I expected the cinema to be empty, but it was surprisingly packed. I've been to big blockbuster movies that had fewer people than this. The movie itself was great, and I totally understood why my friend recommended seeing it on a big screen. It definitely has that older pacing and vibe, but I really enjoyed the cinematography and the performance. On the drive home, a lot was going through my head. When I was younger, I dreamed of becoming a film director, so out of habit, I was replaying the movie in my mind, breaking it down and analyzing it. And then, of course, thoughts about work and everything else started creeping back in. Distraction only lasts so long. I know worrying like that doesn't really lead anywhere, so I tried to push those thoughts aside. There were other things bothering me too, like the stress of trying to buy a house, and my work situation was just another thing added on top. I'd done everything I realistically could, and there wasn't much more I could do at that point. It kind of felt like being caught in a rip at the beach. All you can really do is stay afloat, go with the current, and hope for the best. For some reason, that reminded me of the old man and the sea. In times like this, the best thing I can do is focus on what I can do right now in this moment. The old man in the book doesn't really dwell on regret. He just focuses on what needs to be done and what's still within his control. Doing chores actually clears my head and keeps me grounded. But yeah, this is a bit too big of a mess. The thing with freelancing or contract work is that there's always uncertainty. Freelancers are basically regular employees with shorter cycles. The money can be decent when work is flowing, but my line of work is pretty niche, and the industry itself has been changing rapidly. Stability, for the most part, just doesn't really exist. Even people who are far more senior and experienced than me have been struggling, and a lot of them are moving into completely different industries. I still consider myself fairly lucky, especially as someone who's relatively new to the industry. Oh, I really got lucky this time around. A lot of people have helped me out when I needed it, and I try to do the same for others whenever I can. I dodged a bullet this time, but it made me stop and actually sit down and write things out I could work on, so that moving forward, things might be a bit less rocky. I usually keep everything in my head and tell myself that's enough to act on, but deep down I know that doesn't really work. So this time I wrote it all down. It feels pretty cliche doing this with 2026 just a few weeks away. It definitely has that new year, new me energy, which I usually roll my eyes at. But still, I wrote a few things down, mainly across 3 areas: health, career, and family. Health is going to be my main focus going forward. There were periods where I trained and exercised almost obsessively, but over the past few months, I really let that slide. Looking back, those were the times I felt the most energetic and the most clear-headed. Sometimes I wonder if I'd been training and staying fit, would I have handled this whole situation a bit better? I really do believe in that saying, healthy body, healthy mind. When I'm disciplined with the basics, training, routine, looking after myself, everything else just feels better and easier. I got more energy, more patience, and a better base to deal with whatever comes next. I don't have some perfectly mapped out plan, but I do have a loose structure. Keep practicing my craft, keep learning, and work on side projects that might turn into something down the line. I still wonder what the future holds. Honestly, I don't see it being all that optimistic. There's a lot that's out of my control. But just because things aren't clear and just because a storm might be coming, it doesn't mean I can sit around dwelling on my choices or my fate. All I can really do is show up, stick to the things I can control, and keep moving forward. By the time this goes up, it will be a day or two before the new year. I wish you all the best for 2026. Thanks for watching and listening to my rambling. I'll catch you in the next one.